Greetings. How are you, Sister Goddess? This is Tyra Omilade, your Goddess Guru. And you know, I love helping women align with their life purpose using the power of ancient wisdom and the Goddess centered lifestyle. And today I want to talk about what is happening in the world. And I do this because part of the reason that I got into astrology was because at that time, there were things happening that I just didn't understand. And I didn't hear many spiritual teachers speaking on the world events and what was happening so that it could help me to kind of understand how to approach living in a world that felt so chaotic and scary at that time. And so I want to make sure I do my part to help you have a understanding, even if everything I say you don't agree with, and I'm very okay with that. But I definitely want to help everyone. I want to be a spiritual guide slash teacher who is speaking on world events because people actually really do care. I see this as a part of spirituality. And so I want to share a little bit about my thoughts about what's happening. And hopefully it will either help you, guide you, or give you an idea of how do you work this out in your spiritual landscape. So, first and foremost, as I see it, it's been very chaotic since easily 2020. And I'm speaking more as an astrologer in this moment, just because I know that the astrology has been very, very rough since 2020. So 2023 just feels like an extension, the next installment of 2020. I do want to just give you a little bit of hope that 2024 is slated to be an upturn. I will let you all know closer to 2024, maybe once we get into that year, a little bit more about what I think. I've been so fixated about what's happening in 2023. I haven't been able to forecast much, but 2023, I do, based on my research, is at the very bottom of this world graph that we travel up and down as a collective. So it's just been, like, it's not like the wars that we see happening right now are like all of a sudden we go from bliss to war. We know this is not true, right? But it does feel confusing, tense. This is how I feel. It's confusing, it's tense, it's disturbing. There's a part of me that's enraged, and it's not even just about the wars. It's just a lot going on in the world right now. But in particular, what is making me write this or make this recording is what the last war that has kicked off between Israel and Palestine. And I just want to say that I don't fully understand. I've had to educate myself about Palestine and Israel and what in the heck is going on with these people, these groups of people. I had to educate myself. So I am not qualified as a historian or a political analyst to talk about it. But what I do want to say is that it is really disturbing. It's very disturbing for a lot of us. And I oftentimes look at astrology, and the astrology indicates that there could be more and more war happening. And even the war that started between Ukraine and Russia, there was indications of war, and it has to do with the astrological sign Aries. Aries has been lit up quite a bit. Aries has to do with war, fighting. It has a lot of beneficial energy around it. It could be advocacy, but what we have to do is look at how is it manifesting in the world. And the weekend that the war started between, Palestine and Israel, there was even a more serious, aspect that was happening astrologically. And so Yes, there is an indication. Like, one of the things that I want you to know is very seldom am I surprised about anything that shows up, just because we actually do have ways of kind of like looking at the energetic landscape to see what is going to happen. Will we be in a time of peace? Will we be in a time of war? So astrologically, there could be an indication of war. I am not of the position that astrology makes anything happen. I do believe astrology creates a certain energetic blueprint. It creates an atmosphere, but it is the human collective and each individual that will decide how that energy shows up for them. Because just as sure as war in two countries, there's peace and people are thriving in some other countries. And it is because of the exact same aspects, right? It's the exact same astrology, but it's how are we choosing to allow this energy to come through our consciousness? So I just want to assure you that, there are no surprises when for those of us who know astrology. And I hope that that brings you a little bit of um, peace just through understanding something like this could have happened. And the other thing that I learned in 2020 is 2020 was a year where I felt the most powerless. And so I began to just surrender and trust that there's an infinite wisdom in the universe. If you are listening to this, you subscribe to my YouTube channel, you're on my newsletter, you get my newsletter, you're listening to my podcast, you're on my website, you are spiritual. There's something about you that is there's a higher force that I'm certain is in existence no matter what name you call it. And so this morning, I didn't even plan on making this. It just hit me, and then I said, "I'm sharing this with my community." It hit me, "Wait a minute." Just like in 2020 when there was complete chaos here in the United States, and it was crazy around the world because of, the pandemic, I got to a point where I just said, "I feel so powerless." And all of a sudden, something opened up in me that was like, there is an infinite intelligence in this universe. And I want you to watch how it plays out. And there were times when I really did think, this is it. I just don't even see how we can even make a comeback from any of this. And it felt so confusing and so foreign and so unknown. So many things that were happening at that time, especially a worldwide pandemic. And it just seemed like, even with all the chaos, here we stand in 2023, and I would see things work out that I thought that I just didn't think this was gonna work out. So, I encourage you to lean into this energy of surrender. What I told myself this morning was, "So, Tyra, you've been alive for 53 years today, and I want you to understand the humanity and the world it's been here for a long time, way longer than 53 years, boo-boo, okay? You got so many ancestors, you can't even begin to count. If you were to count and name all your grandmamas and granddaddies through all the generations, it's unfathomable at this point, okay? So, trust and believe there's some higher energy that is in play, in effect. And I just have to trust when I feel my most powerlessness, when I feel powerless the most, this is when it is important for me to say, I just have to trust that there is a purpose, that there is a meaning. And the most important thing for me to do is to figure out what does this mean for me? And that's what I want to encourage you to do. I want you to encourage you. Doesn't matter what you think about the war, because some people may not care. There's a lot of people who I hear are they care about what's going on. But all of us are seeing a lot happening in the world, or maybe we even have something happening in our own lives. At some point, there is this energy of, I must surrender to a higher power. And then from there, I can make a decision about what I want to do. And that's what I want to encourage you all to do. I consider us, I got this from Michael Beckwith, we are citizens of the world. What is it that you can do to channel peace, love, harmony? This is our opportunity. If you're alive right now, this is our opportunity to make a decision about what kind of world we want to live in. And we can't let the media create a narrative. I do believe in being educated. I can't stand conspiracy theories. I just don't. I love education. I love proof, you know? I love understanding and doing my best to make a decision based on what I know. And when I don't know, then it's time for me to sit and learn, okay? So I do believe that we have to be cautious of what narratives are we taking in, but the ultimate thing for us to do is to figure out in my mind, this is what I want you to do. In my mind, what do I see for this world? What can I contribute to help with the chaos, people who are suffering, no matter what the situation is, no matter what the country is? What is it that I can do to lend my energy and do it in my own way? I always say start with your gift and your talent. That's what I'm doing right here, right now. I am sharing from my heart as a spiritual guide, which was what I was born to do. And so, you know, this is how I'm making my contribution. Some of you are artists. Maybe you want to do some art and share it to help bring healing to people's hearts. Maybe you want to create some jewelry to help ground people, or oils. Maybe you do readings for people and you want to do a reading. I'm going to pull a card today, you all. Maybe we can't change, we don't have the power to just create the change we wish to see specifically in the situation, say, for instance, in Palestine and Israel. But what we can do is create a change in how you feel on the inside. And I just want to give you this reading today to hopefully help you to feel better. So what is it that you can do to send to write the narrative of the world, to bring in more peace, love, harmony, where to also help people to channel their rage, to bring in people being operating more from their humanity than they've ever operated before, to see, literally see other people as human who have rights just like you. And I am not speaking to anything in particular. It's just this need for us to really connect to, we are humans. We are all one collective, connected together. What affects one affects everyone. We are all, beautiful and worthy of love. And the last thing that I want to say, because I want to keep this as short as possible, is I do think that even though we're worthy of love, part of the human experience is experiencing things that we can't stand, things that feel disturbing. This is what it means to be in the space-time continuum. And so we will always, all we have to do is pick up history books. We will always see war. We will always see people not getting along. We will always see people who don't see one another as the same, as human, as worthy of love and basic human rights. It's just a part of it, and that is what makes us dig deeper into our love, our humanity, our gifts and talents to share with the world. We wanna use it as a catalyst for good, and that's what I wanna put out there for you all today. This is Tyra Omilade. Thank you all for being here today. It is my deepest hope and prayer that I have said something today that has inspired you, that has brought a healing balm to your heart, your mind, your soul. And I just encourage you, dear one, in case there are all, maybe it's not just women listening to this particular podcast, whoever you are, dear human, when you make a decision that you're gonna share the gifts and talents that you were born to share, even if you think the world doesn't care or won't accept them, when you do share them, the world, in fact, becomes a better place. Now, I'm talking to the women right now. It is incumbent upon us as women to share our gifts and our talents, to stand up and offer healing to the world because it is us. We are the ones that are going to truly usher in the peace that all of us wish to see. I love you all so much. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.